Hey everyone, I am a week overdue for my book review and book chat, so I will just hop right into it. This week, we met last week, this month we read, I'm getting the cover. It's called Salting Roses by Lorelle Marinello. Where do I start? Don't buy it. Don't read it. Don't borrow it. The premise was great. The discussion questions were very thought-provoking. The summary, or the synopsis, or however you want to say it, is it takes place, and that's part of the reason we didn't love the book. It takes place in a small town in the South. It's not initially clear when, which was part of the problem. I think it's in the late 90s, but it took about 2/3 of the book to figure that out. Anyway, it's set in a small town in the South, I think in Alabama. And the main character is a 25-year-old girl who she thinks is being raised by her aunt and uncle, when in fact she finds out that she is the long-lost, kidnapped daughter of a wealthy family from Connecticut, and they have all died. Her real dad died and left her $600 million. And then the story goes on to talk about how she deals with suddenly finding that she's rich and so forth. So that would be an interesting story, you would think, and the discussion questions were all, really fun. Like, what would you do if you won that kind of, or if you inherited that kind of money? How do you think your life would change? How do you view people? Do you think about their socioeconomic status, or don't you? Do you look at celebrities differently because they're wealthy? All kinds of, good discussion questions for a group of people to talk about. However, the book could have been good, but I feel like the editor, whomever the editor was that edited this particular book, either fell asleep, passed it off to somebody else to do. There was no editing. The book jumped from point A to C with no explanation of what happened at point B. The character development was weak. I have more questions about what happened and who people were and how they were related at the end than I did at the beginning. There was the story dragged along forever and then hurried up and finished at the end. It was very poorly written. The cover has nothing to do with the book. If this is a first novel, I hope it gets a lot better from here. I hate to trash an author, but this was really horrible. And very cliched for those girls who are actually born and raised in the South in my book group. They were offended by the stereotypes. So the dialogue wasn't very authentic as compared to The Help, which we read a few months ago, which was obviously set in the Deep South, in the middle of the Civil Rights Movement. Could have been very cliche. That was very well done, very well written. This one was just one cliche after another, and it turns out the author's from California, so how she has any clue how Southern girls talk is beyond me. So, don't read it, don't waste your time. I'm still getting teased by the girls. They want me to pay for all the books that they bought. I mean, they're kidding, but we all feel like we should write to the publisher and ask for our money back because it was that big of a waste. Next month's book I didn't pick, so we're hoping that it's better. I have mine from the library. It's by Tracy Chevalier, Remarkable Creatures. She also wrote, I think Girl with a Pearl Earring. Yes, Girl with a Pearl Earring. She wrote The Virgin Blue, Falling Angels, The Lady and the Unicorn, Burning Bright. So she's a veteran author. We know that her work is good. I have no idea what this book is about. Oh, interesting. From the moment she's struck by lightning as a baby, it is clear Mary Anning is different. Though poor and uneducated, she discovers on the windswept beaches of the English coast that she has a unique gift. The eye to spot fossils no one else can see. So she has this ability to see fossilized skeletons. And however, she's barred from the academic community, and then she hooks up with this middle-class spinster from London who also likes going to the beach to look for things, and they have an interesting friendship. So it's Remarkable Creatures is an inspiring novel of how one woman's gift transcends class and social prejudice to lead to some of the most important discoveries of the 19th century. It is a revealing portrait of the intricate and resilient nature of female friendship. So that sounds interesting and not sad. So looking forward to reading that. And I also picked up a few other things. As you can see, I got an iPad for the holidays, and I've been reading some really horrible books that were on sale on Kindle, and maybe that's why they were on sale. So I'm not going to talk about those because they were terrible. But I did read a couple good ones. I'm just trying to get to my library so I can tell you what they were. Me Talk Pretty One Day was recommended by all of you, many of you, and so I did read that. And Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I finally read. I think I might be the last person on earth to have read that book. It did have a rather slow start, but once it got going, I'm glad I stuck through it. It's very interesting. So I will be reading the next one in the series. I'm hooked. Odd characters, but very well done. If you're looking for recommendations on highbrow literature, this is not the place, but if you want some fun recommendations, many of you know I like J.D. Robb. That is the pen name for Nora Roberts, and her 4th book in the series about the Bride series came out not too long ago, and my friend Katie, who is my supplier of J.D. Robb books, is also my supplier for Nora Roberts books. So I finished the 4th in the series. It's the Bride Quartet is the series. This last one is Happy Ever After. That beeping means I should probably stop taping and fold laundry, but it can keep. Anyway, I loved it. It was a quick read. I read it, I think, in a day and a half, and I cried and laughed, and it's a fun book. If you just want a break from laundry and child rearing or work and you want to turn off your brain and just have a good time, her books are wonderful. And there's no magic in this one. If you don't like magic and the supernatural, there's none of that in here. It's just romance, sweet. Another series, I like to recommend series because I feel like you really get to know characters better when you have a long time with them, so to speak. And if you don't like the paranormal, this is definitely not for you. But I also just picked this up at the library. The author's name is Jim Butcher, and he writes a series of books. The main character is a wizard named Harry Dresden, and he's more like a private detective, and it's set in modern times in Chicago. And as I'm from Chicago originally, I have a soft spot for that. And I'll just read the first paragraph. As Chicago's only professional wizard, Harry Dresden has had cases that have pitted him against insane necromancers, power-hungry fairy queens, enigmatic dark wizards, fallen angels, pretty much a who's who of hell and beyond, with the stakes in each case ranging from a lone human soul to the entire human race. So the first book in this series is called Stormfront. And there's 12 so far. They're really fun. I love these books. Again, it's Jim Butcher. The first book's called Stormfront. It's the Dresden Files is the name of the series. Just great writing. Tongue-in-cheek, kind of sarcastic. It's good. I like it. It's nothing like Outlander. It's nothing like any other series I recommended. I do like the paranormal. I think it's fun to read. And they're pretty, substantial books. This one is a collection of short stories about the main character, but this one is one of the shorter ones at 418 pages. So these will sit with you for a while. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my book chat. As always, I would love to get more suggestions. I kind of get in a rut and tend to read the same things over and over again. So if you have a suggestion that I haven't talked about or that you haven't seen in the comments before, please, write me, because I have been reading many of the books you've recommended and I've enjoyed all of them so far. So thanks for those. And also on my bookshelf, I have the newest Janet Ivanovich book. I think it's called Wicked Appetite. I do enjoy her writing as well. I will admit I tend to go for the shallow and fun. I'm just too busy and tired by the time I am available to pick up a book to really engage my brain and think. I feel like I did enough of that in college and graduate school, and now I'm having to reread many of these books or read them for the first time as my older son gets farther along. This year he had to read Macbeth and Animal Farm, and they're going to be reading Fahrenheit, is it 451, and To Kill a Mockingbird this year. So I might be a little over-involved as a mom, but I try to read the books either before or as he's reading them so that we can talk about them. And At the very least, I get the Cliff Notes so that I can remember them, but I do try to reread. So between picking through that and then having fun, I don't want to read anything else that's too deep. Last year in 6th grade, he had to read Beowulf. Thankfully, it was a translation, but even then, that was not fun. So, yeah. I don't know what 8th grade entails, but I do know that one of them is Elie Wiesel's Night. So, again, there's some heavy reading for next year as well, too. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please give me some comments about books. Love that. And I'll talk to y'all soon about books next month after our next book club meeting. See y'all soon. Bye-bye.